Hi, I'm Callie from CRK Training. Welcome to today's blog video. And what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to call it a new kind of style or a new kind of training that I've been working with for the last few months, and I wanted to share it with you. So basically what this is clicker training. Now, sometimes I use a clicker. I have a clicker to show you today, and sometimes I just use my voice. But I actually started doing this with my horses after I was reading some books and I started clicker training my dog. So what I liked about clicker training and what I thought would be really applicable to the horses was the ability to have a communication tool, essentially, that tells the horse, that's it, you just did it right. Because a lot of times I've always liked to use a lot of praise and a lot of, positive in my training. But I realized that, with praise, it can be a little vague and it doesn't mark the exact moment of that's what I wanted, that's right. And that's what I liked about clicker training. Now, I'm going to kind of go back a step and I'm going to explain a little bit how it works, and then I'm going to show you on my horse now. So, like I just mentioned, the importance of clicker training is basically the marker signal. So it can be the clicker, that's the noise that the clicker makes, or it can be a word command that you use consistently. For example, I use good. And with horses, I think that the word can be really useful, having them recognize that word, because obviously when we're riding, it can be a lot to hold a clicker and hold everything, hold the reins and everything as we're trying to ride. So having that good that serves as a marker so that as we're asking for something and we can say, good, that was right. So what exactly is a marker? How do we train a horse to recognize this as a marker? So how clicker training basically starts is you have to basically condition the horse to recognize whatever you want to use as a marker, whether it's the clicker, whether it's the voice command good, or something else that you're going to use consistently. You want to first start by making that noise, giving them food, making that noise, giving them food. So they start to associate that word means food is coming. Once they have that association in place, then you can start to actually do some training and basically start asking the horse some questions, or basically just wait until the behavior that you're looking for happens, and then you mark that. So in other words, as soon as, for example, I'm going to use an exercise later where I'm going to have her touch this cone. As soon as she touches the cone, I'm going to say good, and then I'm going to deliver the food. So how a marker signal is also helpful, and markers are also called bridge signals. How they're really helpful doesn't mean that as the horse does the right thing, you can't always give them the reward that exact instant. So for example, when we're riding and say the horse does a good transition, it's not, we can pat them, we can give them that way, but we can't always give them an instant reward. Where when we have a marker or a bridge signal, it basically delays when we can give the reward. So it says, yep, that was right. The horse makes the connection that what I just did just earned me a reward. And then we can actually give the reward, whether it's treats, whether it's, just a, petting, scratching, something that your horse really likes. You can deliver that later. Now, I will say that I have found food to be very effective. And I made another post on using treats in training, and we kind of talked about the pros and the cons of it there. So I won't go into that today, but I'll just say that with this style of training, food is a really powerful motivator for horses, and it can be really effective. So stay here. There's another horse just right outside the screen along the round pen fence that she would like to go visit. So what we're going to start with is this little cone exercise. Now, I think I've done this with her a few times, so she might recognize it here, but not enough that she really knows what it's all about. So what I'm going to do is hold out this cone, taking a little food here, and I'm going to wait. Good. Now you notice I'm using both, and that's just I'm really in the habit of saying good, and then I'm also using this clicker just so you can kind of hear the sound and see how it works. Now, it's important that I make that marker or that bridge signal as soon as she does the right behavior, which in this case is her nose touching this cone. I don't want to be too late, or I don't want to be too early, or she might learn the wrong thing. Good. Good. Now I'm going to make this just a little harder, and I'm going to set the cone on the ground and see if she still makes the connection. Good. Good. So as you can see, this is a really simple training exercise, just kind of a little game that I'm using to illustrate how clicker training works. Now, the fun thing is I personally find games to be very effective and to actually be a lot of fun. And you can use the games to start to help your horse understand what that marker signal actually means. And that way, as you're using, say, your good or your clicker or whatever, as you're doing something else that might seem a little more practical to you, say riding, they recognize that signal and you still have the ability to make that communication that tells the horse that was right, you just got it right. So I'm going to show you another little thing that I do with her, and this is just something that I think would have been really difficult to train through any other form. Same with touching that cone. You can't really teach a horse to touch a cone with pressure and release. And what I'm just going to do next is an exercise that I'm doing with her, because I'm kind of incorporating it in some of the in-hand work that I'm playing with and that I'm working on. But I wasn't sure how to train this using pressure and release. So the positive reinforcement and the clicker training essentially really gave me a way of teaching her how to do this. And what it is, I wanted her to learn that when I give her a little tap on the butt, she moves into that instead of away from it. So that's what I'm going to show you next. So I'm going to reach up here, give her a little tap on top of her rump. And when she steps that leg in, I'm going to give her the marker signal, and then I'll give her a reward. Now she's being slow about it. Good. So the tapping is my cue to her, and we've worked on this before, so she knows what the cue means. We'll do it again here. So when she gets the wrong answer, like she just did there, I'm going to ignore it and I'm just going to keep tapping. Good. So again, it's really the timing, just how we talked about before, the importance of timing if you're using pressure and release. The importance, or timing, is really important here too. Do it again. Good. Okay, so that's our video on clicker training. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, I've been playing with this for just a few months, incorporating, the clicker training and having that specific marker signal instead of just kind of general praise. And I found that it's really becoming essential actually to my training. And I would love to get your input if you've worked with clicker training before, whether with the actual clicker or with using, the voice commands like I was describing with the good. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. And if you're watching this anywhere besides crktrainingblog.com, that's where most of the discussion usually happens. And I will look forward to meeting you there. Thank you.